Well, hello. Hope the apocalypse is treating you all well. I'm really busy. We have a new sub-admiral in the house and things are crazy. However, if you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise, as the song says. Go to the AMG website or their Facebook page. Look for Armada and click on Rapid Reinforcements 1. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, do we get a big surprise. So they have released alternative ship cards and squadron cards for a number of different things. So let's start from the top, boys and girls. So you can now run a Venator 2 Star Destroyer in the Empire. We presume these are legal. Like, it has the official. Players can print these cards to include in their standard games. Tournament games are standard games, right? Right? Who knows? Who can tell? It's madness. Vaders and Anakins living together in harmony. Anyway, yeah, so the Empire gets a Venator and gets a new Vader. So let's look at the less exciting. It's a Speed 3 big ship in the Empire for 100 points. Double ordnance, which is crazy. Turbo laser slot. Defensive retrofit, which is nice. Gunnery teams, squadrons are not that amazing. And it has same suite, same hull, pretty much the same dice, aka the not great rainbow dice with less squadrons. It's a very odd ship. It is not the oddest of the ships we will look at today, but it is a very odd one. It's a good price for a kind of in between a VSD and a Star Destroyer. The lack of ion slots, as always with all the Venator, hurts it. That nav chart is ass. But Republic don't have Church Rod. So they don't. And they don't have Throne, who works a hell of a lot better than Bale does. If he's got 3 navigate dials. And yeah, it's an interesting ship. You've got none of the titles, I don't believe. Hold on. That is a good question. I think the titles are faction specific. Yes, so you'll have none of the titles. So it's just a body. But yeah, it'll have the salvo. It can have an evade, a salvo. And with Nita, for example. The confetti dice, I'm not sure what you're going to do with those ordnance slots, but it's an interesting odd ship. And 100 points, it's less than the cheapest Star Destroyer, and way more than any VSD. Then this thing of beauty. Let's zoom in, shall we? Let's zoom in. Now, this is all going out very fast, so apologies if it's all a bit, the sound isn't great and everything else. But yeah, I just saw this and went, let's make a quick video. So, we have a Vader worthy of the name. Firstly, he's rogue, so nobody is commanding him. He's bomber, because he'll blow up anything in his way. He's adept too, as he should be. And he maintains his old ability, you'd think, while attacking. Each of your crit icons adds 1 damage to the damage total. But it's against ships or squadrons. So those 2 red dice on his bomber armament can quite easily become 4 if you get a double and a crit, or 2 crits. And he's re-rolling it. And he's 5 hull. 6 hull. Speed 5. Scatter. The only one price, It's as if him and Lando are priced, and every other race is priced completely differently. Against squadrons, so he can do 7 damage. So you roll you can do 2 off both blacks and the red, and you can do 1 off a blue. So you can do 7 damage to a squadron, or 6 in an accuracy, which might actually be better against an ace. But yeah, and he just flies around, and he's very hard to catch. And at least he doesn't have grit. Faster, stronger, tougher than any other scatter ace. He's madness. He's beautiful, glorious madness. Yeah, best card out of the pack. Now, I said the Providence. This is the oddest ship. This is the absolute oddest ship of the lot of them, right? So it's reduced its speed. It's slower. Okay, firstly, it's slower, right? It's squad 2. It's got the it doesn't have the same defense layout token as an actual Providence. Sorry there now. Yeah. So it drops the contain for an evade. And it's cheaper than both of the Providences. It loses 2 squads, which is the weird thing, because because this has 2 weapons team slots. You know, the slot that every kind of type of carrier wants in Rebels that only the assault frigate really has? This is 2 of them, but it only has squadron 2. So, yep. Double black on the flak, which is respectable. The dice are grand. I mean, Akbar, perfect, long range, but it's speed 2. Great maneuverability, but it can engine techs. So is this your cheaper, okay, if you're still using MC-80 assault cruiser, this is maybe better, but it has no defensive retrofits. It can take the engine techs and gunnery teams and be a decent Akbar flagship. And nothing is kind of jumping in front of it. It's got 2 support teams. What the hell are you meant to do with 2 support teams? And it's got 2 support teams, 2 offensive retrofits, 2 gunnery teams, and 2 officers. So, yeah. Please get this in right next to Shipbuilder very soon. This is an insane ship. It doesn't make any sense. It's so bad at so many things, but it's so good at so many things. And the wackiness of building with it are going to be insane. You've got 2 officers, so you can immediately ram in a Salantilles to cover up your lack of squadron, maybe. If you want to turn it into a carrier, and then you have got your flight controllers. But how does it stay close? Well, then it needs engine techs, and it seems like you could just sink so many points into this. There's potential. It is the oddest. Look at that upgrade bar. It's insanely odd. And it's got all colors of the dice, weapons teams, but no weapon slots. No ordnance, no ions, no turbo lasers. Which suggests it's a massive support ship, but it's a massive support ship with no fleet commands and no fleet support slots. So, I have no idea. It's just going to be mad to build with. Great fun, but yeah, there's nothing that, like, you need to sit down and go, well, what can I build around this? Like, if we take a look at some support slots for... So, you could have engineering team, auxiliary shield teams, and engine techs. The combination. But then again, you are paying 7 points just to get it back up to the same speed as the Providence. It's going to be a wacky one. It's definitely going to be a wacky one. But you can have Kaken and Sholin. And what do you pair them with, though? Sensor teams? Veteran gunners? Make really accurate dice? It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. Then we've got Hera. So she's got decent. She's a black bomber X-Wing, which is always nice. 2 blue, a red, and a black. Dodge one. Like, Dodge might as well not be on the card, in my opinion. It's just not good. So same speed, same hull, and when you are activated, friendly squadrons at distance 1 that have escort gain adept 1. So that's a good bubble. So with Torrent Far, with the horde of X-Wings, you go in there, you're getting 2 rerolls to attack, or you're giving bomber command effectively to your bombers, your X-Wings. Now with the other thing is with YT 1300s, then you could also pull it off for the counter. It's interesting. I think Biggs, Jan, 3 or 4 X-Wings and Hera, and you have a decent kind of threatening bomber force. Well, you would have, except for, ion defense network. Rubbish. What am I saying? We may be a bit rusty. What are we trying? What are we? Armada, if I'd been smart. Yeah, just ignore. Yeah. Point defense ion cannons. Yes. So if it wasn't for point defense ion cannons, I would love this. Her ability, I'm not sold on the dodge thing. I'm really not. Give her scatter. But yeah, in terms of pricing these two, they are not even remotely the same. But that is Torrent Far on everyone within 1 for any colour that you want, which is really good. Okay, so then what did the Republic get? The Republic got everybody's ship that is the Marmite of ships. You either love it or you go, what the fuck is that thing doing on the table? The Victory Star Destroyer. Now, it has the firepower of a 1, which means it's incredibly short range, which is a problem. It has, however, a support team to get it nice and close, and it has 2 ordnance slots, which gives it a little bit of difference from a clam. It's more survivable than an acclimator, but less survivable than an actual victory because it's got the salvo. However, it is 2 red salvo, but you don't have linked turbo laser turrets. Now, it's interesting. It doesn't have any better maneuverability than any of the clone ships, except if it's got the engine text, then it does. Command 3, Squadron 3, Engineering 4. Yeah, it's interesting. It's doing a lot of what the Republic ships already kind of do. Here's a ship, it moves at speed 3. This one, admittedly, because it's got engine techs. This one might maneuver better because of that, but it needs an engineer. It needs a navigate dial the whole time, which is probably most of the problem with the combined arms focused, always needing to nav Republic big ships. So interesting. Not sure it replaces an acclimator ever. It doesn't have a defensive retrofit for once, so no, and I've forgotten the name. No heat shield for you. No, what am I trying to say? This is a very rambly one. I do apologize. I think I could have my baby daughter on and she'd do it better remembering the names. So we would say that, yeah, the lack of defensive retrofit and the inability to have a thermal shield is the real problem with this one. But interesting. Okay. Baby Vader. Right. So he's an Aether sprite, which a lot of people have asked for. He's 4-4 in terms of stats and 1 point less expensive than Crazy Vader we saw above. So not that impressive in terms of that, but it is an Aether sprite. Okay. So it's got the dodge and scatter, which that combo is tough. Counter 2 with the depth 2, which means he's just doing you 2 damage every time you attack him. Let's be clear. And the 2 blue and 2 black is he's with the rerolling. He's a bit of a menace for scatter aces as well. While attacking a squadron during your activation, at the end of the resolves damage step, you may choose 2 enemy squadrons at distance 1 of the defender. If the defender was damaged, the chosen squadron suffers 1 damage. So a nice kind of mini splash as well. And if you don't want a mini splashing, you've got to hit him. He's decent. I'm not sure. He's very, very survivable. And with Ahsoka, it's just the other, like for 19 points with 2 more hull, I don't know if it's better than the bomber. It's definitely good. And then obviously somebody doesn't like Separatists. What can I say? But that's what I am saying, is they do not like Separatists. It's getting 1 ship. It's getting a Xanthi cruiser, which has no fleet support command. It has gunnery teams, but it doesn't have any slot that would allow it to use a boarding team, because why would it do that? Do something sensible like that? It has an ion cannon, so PDX on this thing, potentially. What are you protecting? That means you're protecting an officer. So PDX and scatter are interesting, right? Don't get me wrong. But it's 27 points. Like, it's a squadron carrier. You could have a TI-99 in the center of something. I'm struggling to see what else you could have in there in terms of officers. Pasel, no, you're not making this 33 points just so it can do 2 commands. That's insane. Its nav chart is worse. Like, it's definitely flotilla, so you're not ramming with it. Yeah, it's got no support team. Like, San or TI-99 are the only things that I can see on that, and PDX to make it really annoying. But the lack of fleet support, I'm like, what are you doing to this poor? What have you done to the poor Gazanti? You've actively made it worse. Like, and what's it going to take in terms of gunnery team? Flight controllers, you get a 33 point. Like, flight controllers might be a thing. Flight controllers might be a thing here. Potentially flight controllers PDIC. But yeah, that is that, boys and girls. So, like, if this is talking about how AMG are going to design ships in future, there is a lot to process here. None of these ships, apart from maybe the Vic-1, follows a kind of... Well, no, that I lie. The Vic-1 and the Ven are fairly standard, you could say. But the Providence, it's like, it's not specialized at all. It's a madness boat. It is a madness boat. Okay, well, right. I will, once the tools are up and running, I will try and make a list with all of those if people comment and say what they want. I don't know when that's going to be, because lovely baby Harmony has joined us here in the house, and that's kind of explained my hiatus for the last while. I hope everyone's keeping well. We're back in business, boys and girls. We're back in